Hello everyone, welcome to an unboxing video, this time of the Astra Militarum Valkyrie. Now I bought this miniature based on a poll I did on YouTube where I asked all of you, the viewers, which Astra Militarum flyer I should buy, which was a Valkyrie and 3 of the resin Forge World kits. And very luckily, you all told me to get the Valkyrie, which is much appreciated because this is a lot cheaper than the Forge World kits. I think this is £58 on a Forge World flyer like the Thunderbolt. Or the Voss Lightning, Voss Pattern Lightning is like £150, so certainly lucked out in that sense. And also, of all of them, probably its rules are probably the best in inverted commas, and also there's no risk this unit will become legend. Now, first of all, it's a relatively big kit, and £58, and as we look at the amount of plastic in a second, it feels like good value in the world of GW, of course. It's not good value for buying plastic kits, but compared to other kits, it feels pretty reasonable. So one nice thing is the artwork has been updated. This definitely is modern 40k. I think it's probably like, was it a 9th or 10th they updated all the artwork, but this is quite modern. You can see the new Cadians there, reference there, so this, at least the box is looking quite new. So that's nice, which will go in the recycling, but still it's good. Then you get quite a bit of plastic, as I said, so you get the instructions, obviously, which are quite good, and then you get a good amount of plastic. Yeah, so you definitely feel like you're getting, again, good GW value, not good real world value, but £58 for this, I think, retail price feels pretty reasonable for what you get here. As far as the base is concerned, you get a flying stand, which obviously has to be quite sturdy, so that looks pretty reasonable. And then you get, I don't know what size it is, but it's certainly quite hefty. And so you get an unpainted scion. You can see, obviously, physically it's quite a large thing going on there. So yeah, nice little flying stand, and definitely you want to be sort of magnetizing this type of thing for storage. Okay, let's go for the plastic first, move this out of the way. And one other thing is, I've put it away already, but you get a sheeted decals, which is nice, and they're the recent decals. So this is relatively, I think it's a really cool looking kit, and it's going to be quite exciting painting an aeroplane in 40k, because I've only ever painted tanks and little guardsmen. It's going to be quite nice. And I definitely know also you can model this with the back ramp open. Now, I'm going to probably get it all wrong, but I think the ramp, I'm not going to guess which one the ramp is, but you can see there's some very nice interior detail here. Some excellent, and this is where the door gunners can hang out the side, so the heavy bolter gunners. So some fantastic detail being seen here. But one thing always with this type of thing is being able to see it, because obviously if this is like that, and the ramp is facing there, then with natural light looking in, you're going to probably struggle to see most of this stuff except for here. So that's the thing is, either I get really fancy, put a light in it, which will definitely push my hobby skills, or you just sort of give it a bit of a dry brush and maybe do some of the detail here. But once you get beyond there, I mean, you can't see this, unfortunately. So yeah, it's been interesting when they do a lot of interior detail, because often you can't see it, like the Taurox Prime has got loads of interior detail, but you'll never ever see it unless you make like a little diorama with it open up, for example. So very nice to see here, some fantastic interior detail in both sides, and I believe they're the sides of the aircraft, and that looks to be part of the spine, maybe, I believe. Oh, are they the doors there? They just go in there. Interesting. So I guess either you model it with the doors on, or you model it with the doors off and the gunner sticking out the side. So that's sprue number 1. And one thing to also note, I did note this was produced, or its production stamp or design stamp is 2008. So it is a relatively older kit in the scheme of things. So we'll keep an eye out for any telling signs of a bit more of an aged design process. Then you've got some of the wings, which are fantastic, and 2 very chunky looking Hellstrike fire missiles, I think they're called, but it's quite nice to see they're just fully assembled for you, just a big fat plunk of plastic. And I think these are like the landing gear assembly, and obviously it is more of the wings as well, so quite nicely done there. And again, just visually inspecting, I don't see any major, like, massive, issues with mold lines. Some of the older kits, even some of the older Lemon Rust kits, would have horrid amounts of like just excessive mold lines. So these don't look too bad. It's probably hard to see the top-down view, but maybe like this piece here, it's a bit telling of the older style of production. So there's they're nothing over the top here. But again, if we're probably buying a more recent kit, I think the Regal Dawn was pretty good actually, albeit missing part of its bum or its belly, but the mold lines weren't too bad on that. So this is this does show its age, in inverted commas. It is an old kit. Going to get into some more of the details of that, I believe, is the spine almost, all the stuff over the top. Is that the back ramp? Might be, I don't know. Then here's all the weaponry. So the las cannon, multi-laser, some torches, antenna, and then these are meant to be, these are the heavy bolters which perch out the back, which is a really nice detail. And then you get the multiple rocket pods as well. And I definitely will hope that I'm able to easily magnetize these, because in the current game state, the Hellstrike fire missiles, whatever they're called, are way better than these, but you never know, in 11th edition it could be quite good. So it's always good to give yourself the option. But again, it's not looking too bad as far as things go, and I don't think it's too complex of an assembly process, having briefly perused the instructions. So yeah, not much to report here. And the fourth and final piece is then it looks like the engine assembly, and some of the crew guys. Now that's the cabin doors in inverted commas. And definitely when you start to check out the actual figurines in inverted commas, the crewmen, you can see it is quite dated. So again, I don't know how we can sit in the top-down view, but definitely these are the door gunners, and they do look quite dated. They're basically the old-fashioned Cadians in a mono pose, one single pose. I mean, they're totally fine for the purpose they serve, but you can see this is pretty old school. And then even the pilots, they do look relatively, it's not the crisp detail we're used to with the new Cadians. And again, you can't see in the top-down view, but their helmets, their faces don't look too bad, but they're certainly not like as crisp and sharp as we're used to with the Cadians, as I just said. So yeah, so not bad overall. It definitely feels quite dated when you start to check out the crew. But one thing I'm very excited to be modeling, or having to basically design and paint, is the actual cabin doors, if I don't know what you call it actually, but like the cabin doors here. So those pieces will go over the top. So basically either you assemble it and then you put basically tape in here, hobby tape, you paint it and then you remove the tape and hope it hasn't spilled through, or you component paint and glue it in place. Definitely component painting and putting in place is the less risky, but then the actual other risk is that you may apply glue and it could actually, smudge and smear, as opposed to doing it with a tape and then having less risk. So it's not an easy process, but definitely I've seen people just paint straight over it because it's just a lot quicker. But given that its rules aren't wildly good, and I do play tournaments, so I'm looking for sort of the upper end from a competitive point of view, is that this is not a competitive unit. It's a cool unit. It's an amazingly great unit. I have dreams of maybe out the back on the back ramp putting some scions down in there ready to jump off and deploy for deep strike via grab shoot. So we'll take my time with this. But as I said, I don't think currently in 10th edition, it's not an amazing unit, but it's a cool unit. Yeah, so that's all the plastic gubbins, all the bits and bobs. And then the instructions, let's see if we can spot anything cool. But the key piece we're always looking for of instructions is usability and ease of reading, because there's nothing worse than trying to assemble something like an IKEA table set where everything's missing. But it looks like, yeah, okay, cool there. Okay, so you can basically style it with the doors on or doors off. But I would say, to be honest, that position of heavy bolter is terrible. I don't know how a guy's going to shoot anything besides that way and that way, but details don't matter. I mean, it's pretty blood hard to see anything there, but it looks cool, fine. All right, so they recommend you assemble the cabin first. And again, you're going to have to, if you are painting, going for a bit more of a nice look, you have to basically component paint the... Interesting. You got a component. You could probably got to component paint the control panels, the actual chaps themselves, then glue them in place, and then do the exterior. Okay, interesting. Because yeah, with this thing, you basically want to spray paint or draw or airbrush the exterior, obviously. So this means that I'm gonna have to work around this a lot, actually. But that's okay, because you probably can like part assemble this. Yeah, cool. Okay, so there is the interior, but as we think about it, the wings going, you're not going to see much. That's the thing with this. It's a bit of a shame. I don't know what it'll be like when you can see in the back. Here we go. So yeah, right. So if you're seeing that way, the biggest problem will be natural light. How are you going to actually see anything unless you shine a torch in there? And I've definitely seen people do some super cool stuff, putting like little LEDs along the top, but then how do you power it consistently? And I'm not the best with electronics. I'm more of a woodwork type of bloke. But yeah, this is nice to see. Got the door gunners sticking out the side. Oh, you can model it so it's all facing it. It's a nice detail. Cool. Okay. Okay, so you almost build the detail first, then you fully build it. Interesting. So this is going to be, yes, it's going to be quite hard to work around, I think. I don't know. I mean, this was pretty straightforward. And if you own this kit and you've assembled it and painted it, let me know how you found the design process or the creation process. But this doesn't look too revolutionary. Hopefully it's not like the Lehman Russ. We're definitely got to like basically rubber band stuff, keep them in place to avoid any cracks. But you never know. I don't think this will be too bad. Design in 2008. Doesn't look too bad. But look, pretty quick. What time are we on? I'll check the thing. Oh, 11 minutes. Perfect. Pretty straightforward. Is it a good kit? Yes. Is it worth £58? Yes. In GW life. Is it outside of GW? No, it's expensive. Get a good amount of plastic. It's a fantastic looking kit. It'll be the biggest model I own besides a Baneblade. Definitely be the most challenging to carry in storage because it'll be quite a big model. But definitely I am excited to build this because this will be quite a different approach. And I genuinely will take my time because, again, there's no rush to use this in tournaments I've got coming up. It's purely for the fun of actually building a cool looking miniature. And again, as I said, I have a dream of basically having the door down, having some chaps lined up here. How I'm going to pose them, I don't know, but you know, given about to jump off the side of an aircraft, you probably want to be looking pretty stoic as you do it. But yeah, so what do you think? If you own it, let me know how you found the design process and how you painted it. And just any other questions or comments, I'd love to hear from you. So as always, if you want to support me, you can do so with a like, comment, or by subscribing. Joining my Patreon opportunity, feeling super generous, or just watching any of my other YouTube videos. I'm a true Astra Militarum variety channel covering everything from the hobby aspect, like these unboxing videos, the tactical aspect, and also lore as well. A massive thanks to my current supporters. So get your bayonet sharp, let's go on oiled. Faith for the Emperor strong. Patreon platoon, sound off. Tank Commander Glenn. Tank Commander Watchdog Van Etten. Tank Commander Mitchell. Lieutenant Burke Nielsen. Lieutenant Smith. Colour Sergeant DuPont. Sergeant Adal. Scott. The Colonel Merrill. Veteran Gibson. Hall. Lundeen. Guardsman Beard. Coquelin. Flint. Hills. Malik. Nitton. Nguyen. Tom. Tompkin. Conscript de Paz. England. Evan Gunn, Gillian, Goodwin, King.